Welcome to Sister Friends. I'm Angie Gray here with my amazing friend,
ReShonda Young.
And together we're diving into what's at the heart of it all, relationships.
From finances and family to the ups and downs of life partnerships, and even those relationships we have with ourselves. We're here to talk about the real stuff.
We're not shying away from the hard conversations, we're leaning into them because we believe that when we start talking, we start understanding.
And when we understand, we grow in empathy, compassion, and connection.
So grab a seat,
grab a friend, and let's
get into it. Okay, hi, I'm Angie.
Hi, I'm ReShonda.
And this is Sister Friends. Thanks for joining us, guys. Yeah. So we decided just like 2 minutes ago that we are going to talk about pies. And we introduced this to the audience the other day. The first episode. Yeah. Okay, great. So do you want to remind us what that is?
Yeah, so pies is when we talk about how we're doing physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. So it's basically just our way of checking in, and it often leads to other conversations.
Yes, it does.
But it's that quick check-in and seeing how we're doing.
Yeah, and so the truth of the matter is already we've been talking for an hour about all kinds of things, and then we're like, oh my gosh.
Only an hour? I think it's more than an hour.
Probably. So 2 seconds ago, we were just like, let's just do pies, and we'll see where it goes. So that came about because we were seeing each other not as often as we'd love to. And so there was always this life going on. And when we'd see each other, you introduced it because it was your cousin.
My cousin.
I wrongly
Mike.
gave your uncle credit.
Yes.
Your cousin Mike would do this thing. So it's an easy way to catch up. Okay. So we're going to try it today. So you go first. Okay. So here we go. Pies. Okay. Pies by ReShonda and Angie.
Yes. Okay. So physically, how am I doing?
Yep.
Overall, I feel like I'm doing well. The trip to Iceland was so good because I felt like I was getting really physically worn down. Mm-hmm. But it just was just enough to kind of get me rejuvenated. Got back and really got pretty heavy into my weights this morning,
nice.
Which, I love weightlifting.
Yes.
So yeah, I got really heavy into that. And then just my step count, just making sure like each day I had a goal of like 10,000 steps a day, but like it's right now my goal is to get 16,000 a day.
Nice. I've heard so many different things on that. We'll have to come back to that.
So physically I'm feeling really good. Can't really say like I'm having any pain. So that's really awesome. Mm-hmm. So that's how I'm doing physically.
And your journey's been pretty crazy with your fibroid deal. Yes. We talked about that yesterday or the last episode. And that's all good. So you're feeling really good.
That's all good. I feel really good.
I mean, you look amazing.
Well, thank you.
And like you didn't have any weight to lose, and we always talk about, you and I always talk about, it's not, then we apply a number to it. You and I both do. I do anyway, that I feel just because I know it feels best there. So when you said you lost all that weight, I was like, what is happening? You didn't have that weight to lose, but you do look really, really healthy. It's more very, very glowy. It's very glowy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was inflammation. I know so much of it was inflammation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was like 23 pounds.
That's insane.
Yeah. 23
That was a big mofo fibroid is what that was. And all the inflammation, I know it wasn't a 23-pound fibroid.
Right.
But
right.
Yeah. But it was causing some damage. Okay. So then it's my turn. So physically I'm good. It's sort of a back and forth because I mentioned my hip impingement that I've been dealing with for 1.5 years. Time flies, man. And it's almost embarrassing to say that this has been happening for 1.5 years, but I've always been very active and, so having this, it's weird just because sometimes it's there, sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's excruciating. I can't really pin down what it's from. But that aside, I feel good. I'm working with an online coach, which I've never done for myself before. So that feels really, really awesome. She's a menopause weightlifting coach, Holly Rillinger. You guys can find her online. She's amazing. And so that's planned out like my macros, which I love doing my macros. That seems to work super great for me. And my 5 days a week lifting, and that's great. So it's just kind of right now just doing what I can. I want to keep lifting heavier, and I'm a little impatient about it. Mm-hmm. But I'm getting there. So I'm just getting my strength back. Excuse me. So that feels great because I love lifting too and walking.
Yeah.
I can still do that. Just depends on the day. That's something I do every day. So that actually feels really good. Sleep. We didn't talk about sleep in your physical.
Yeah. So sleep, I don't struggle with like going to sleep or staying asleep. I struggle with the fact that I really am nocturnal, but the world around me is not.
I know.
And it's really difficult because my most creative and energetic times come at night. And I can get so much more work done at night than I can during the middle of the day. Like my brain is just like, during the middle of the day.
Really?
But come
Could
nighttime,
it be because you stay up late? Your brain is just like, I mean, I don't know.
That could be part of it as well.
Yeah.
But it started in college where basically when the world around me shuts down, I can wake up. Like there are no more distractions. There's no more phone calls. There's no more all the things that pull at me during the day that distract me.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe is what it is. And so I'm just really accustomed to being up and like super laser focused at night. But then, like I said, the world around me.
So you're up at 6 still?
I'm still up early in the mornings.
Like how early?
Like it depends on the day. Usually by 6:30, pretty early, especially if you're not going to bed till after midnight.
Really bad right now.
I know. And so
after midnight, meaning what? Be real. What time?
It depends.
I don't want to be real, so you don't have to be real if you don't want to.
It depends. I mean, it depends on the day. So it could be midnight. It could be 2:00.
No.
I know. Now, but if it is one of those times where it's like going to be 2, this is a really great time of year for that to happen because like in the summertime when the sun is up early.
Oh, sure.
I just like, if I can see even a little bit of sunshine, my body's like, all right, up to the garden, out walking, like whatever. Like my body's ready to go. But this time of year is dark later.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem if I am like, okay, do not set an alarm. Let your body just naturally wake up. Even still, it's like 7:30. I've gone to bed at 2, but my body's like, all right, I'm ready to be up. I know. But I do give myself a little bit of grace if I really need a nap and it's middle of the day and I don't have anything that is pressing. Yeah. I will actually like get in the bed and go to sleep. Now, I don't really sleep long.
So bad yesterday.
Yeah, I don't sleep very long, like maybe half hour.
Well, who is it? Ariana Huffington, whatever her name is. She's amazing. She has a whole thing about napping.
Okay.
It changed my life, even though I haven't followed the instructions. But
yeah, I love a good
permission nap. To do it.
Absolutely.
It's really good.
Yeah. Okay. So absolutely, I will definitely take a nap if I need it. Yeah, pro nap.
Awesome.
Yeah,
I'm pro nap too. I need to apply that to me. So sleep with physical for me is. I feel like I'm being a little bit naughty around it because I know how important it is to everything, with my inflammation, just healing at night, all the stuff. But like you, like it's kind of like a treat. I'm a treat driven person. So sorry. I'm a treat driven person. Even with nutrition, my workouts, like all that, I'm very treat driven. But like at night, me too. That's when I want to read. I'm not productive. Like, no, I'm done. I'm done with work. I'm done, meeting everyone else's needs. So it's my time and I'm selfish with it there. So it's this like, I know I need to go to sleep, but sometimes it's torturous because we've talked about that before. It's like torturous. Like it almost gets to a point, listen, it's not all the time, but I do go through spurts when I happen to be in one now where it's almost torturous. I'm torturing myself. It's painful to stay awake, but I'm gonna get that next page in, but rarely, I'm not even comprehending anything. The reading part isn't as bad because I love reading. And it's really good when I get into that place of not reading, like work stuff, personal development and all the things, and which I love, right?
Yes.
But it's fun when I'm actually reading a brainless book, which I am. And that's another book that we should talk about. The Women. Okay. Holy Moses. We'll talk about that. But anyway, my sleep, it's good. I'm going to get back on track. I was good last night. I was lights out at 11 and I get up at 6.
Okay.
You know, and my body does the same thing. It wakes up. I wish some days, like when I do stay up till like 2, on occasion, rarely. 2 is really pushing it though. Like 1 is like, oh my gosh, you're going to hurt tomorrow. But then then I'm like, it's fine. I don't have to do anything tomorrow morning. I'm going to sleep in.
Yeah, no.
7 is probably like top what I can sleep into. Okay, so there's physical. I can't think of anything else. Hip on that journey. Had a cortisone shot yesterday, and it's excruciating right now. So, yay. Yeah. So that's that. So, hi, sunshine. This is a good time to take a commercial break and talk about the amazing Sunshine Productions, who's in charge of all of our video and our recordings. And she's taught us everything we know about how to turn things on, which today, high five, we did this by ourselves. So hopefully it's actually recording now, because Sunshine, is it? We're going to have it. So our commercial break is She's Beautiful. Yeah, it's recording. Okay.
Awesome.
Cool. All right. Thanks. You guys will meet her. We're going to interview her sometime soon. But yeah, we do give all the praise and glory to Sunshine Productions for how this is turning out. Anyway, so physical and intellectual next for you.
Intellectually, really definitely stretched, challenged.
Yeah.
All the things with the bank and all the things, to learn. There's always something else to be learned. And it's great. Like, I'm loving the learning. And it just gives me more calm when I go into meetings, because, the more I know, like, just obviously the more confident I can be with the conversation. So that's really good. Just reading and a couple different types of books that I've read, especially like during the trip to Iceland and all, like just reading or listening to books. So that's been really good. So intellectually, I'm feeling like, I don't know, kind of excited. It's just fun to learn more stuff, new stuff. Yeah,
it is. I'm thinking about how I'm not there, like, because I feel like I need to learn more. I always feel like I need to learn more.
Yeah,
and that is we were going to talk about that maybe today too, about how, like, the outside, society or whatever, culture, work, life arena, you're always being pushed and pushed and pushed to, and the ego is how we would identify that. The inside of us always thinking we need to do more. So yes, learn all things, all good things, not by themselves, bad, but I can get caught there. And it feels a little bit like that now. And finding that balance to be like, for me anyway, to be like, yeah, but you do need to actually, I love to learn, but I can get so caught up in it that it also can keep me from actually doing something, so I need to learn more about senior living. I need to learn more about all the spaces in there, and I do. And sometimes, as my good friend James Lee would say, we let good get in the way, or we let great get in the way of good. Did I say that right? Yeah. So I feel like I have to know all the things before I can put something out there. So anyway, intellectually, for me, I am good. And I'm working at actually finding that balance. And that actually comes with, it could come with, I'm not good at it all the time, but it would be ideal if I could have a plan. I love a plan. Yeah. I don't always execute the plan. And I think because life is always happening, that's just this thing, that there's always something derailing it. So I have a great plan, but so the plan, to stick to the plan, is to have a certain amount of time. And, people call that, what do we call that? Not chunking. What do you call it? Some people call it that. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like blocking times. Thank you. So like this time to this time, I'm going to, read up on, senior housing news or whatever it is for me. And so I try to do that. So let's just say if I'm going to grade myself intellectually, I'm going to give myself a solid B for right now.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
even though I'm feeling good, I probably would still only give myself maybe a B+.
Okay. I'm shooting for the B+. Yeah, that's doable. And I don't even know. So I'm really close to the microphone. I don't know that I am, I'm not actually, well, I mean, intellectually too, that could be the book that we're reading, Invisible Women. I feel like that's absolutely intellectual for me. So it's not always, for sure in the business space that I'm in. So I'm doing that. Yeah. We love that book.
We do.
and always following up on, my industry stuff with senior living. But so yeah, feels good.
Yeah. So emotional.
Emotional.
So emotionally, like, there've been emotional things, as we were talking about earlier.
We don't have to go into it right now.
Yeah, but
okay.
It really runs into spiritual.
Yeah,
like,
it does.
The emotional space. Like, honestly, I could be a total wreck emotionally, and I don't feel like I am, and I'm really grateful for that. It's really, for me, a lot of processing and like understanding, which also comes to the intellectual piece of things.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's a spiritual piece of, okay, well, you have an understanding of this, but it could really mess me up emotionally if I were not spiritually grounded.
Mm-hmm. As I'm listening to you say this, and at some point in time, we'll keep peeling back the onion, and these specifics will come up as we feel led to, share. But I, like, emotionally, I'm just thinking about how I was talking about this with a coaching client this morning. For me, I don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't say I don't cry. I don't remember the last time I cried. And I think I get sad,
Mm-hmm.
Kind of where I'm going with that is, I wonder if that's for me anyway. And I think a lot of women, is that a place for us to embrace the emotions of emotions? You know what I mean? Like, I can feel emotional, but do I make time to see what could come of them? Does that make sense?
It does.
Like even like with your things that you were going through, or I'll give you an example with my coaching client a few weeks back. No, actually, she wasn't a coaching client. I'm doing a certification for my coaching professionally. And so she and I are partners in this program.
Mm-hmm.
Barely knew her. Actually had one conversation with her, and it was, we're going to take turns practicing. And so it's the first time I met her, and she asked me about something, and I happened to be going through something in my marriage. And I started, and I don't talk to people, like even you and I, when we get together, it's not like I'm going to like tell you everything. And marriage is such a, as I'm telling an entire audience, but marriage is any kind of close, committed relationship is like the most challenging thing, I think, in life.
Yeah.
So anyway, and so you're not talking about it a lot, at least I'm not. And you feel protective, and all the things. So here's a stranger, she's asking me about this. And I was like, well, if I'm going to expect my clients to feel safe and step into the safe space that I'm creating, I need to be them, right? I need to experience what that is for them. And it was, I just bawled my face off. I mean, not like, ugly cry, like really bawling, but I was really, tears just streaming. I had to stop many times. And that was probably, the first time I had cried, like let tears flow. And I didn't even know it was in me. Do you know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. Like, even you talking about the things that are very important, important.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have allowed yourself to cry, have tears, feel the emotions, because what we do, and I'm asking, with this emotions piece, we say, I'm good. And then we say, because I do it, I'm doing it right now, is because all of that is so connected.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we just go, well, thankfully I have this assurance of who I am and understanding that I'm taken care of because of our faith, our spiritual beliefs and what we feel grounded in. Because that's there, that quickly can come in and, make me feel comfortable and safe. And that's a good thing. My question is, if it's making any sense that I'm asking myself and you and everyone, is for those of you that get what I'm saying, do we let that be this thing that just is supposed to make it be okay? Like, oh, we're just going to move past it. That's it. Do I just move past it? Do I not allow for that to really lean in and feel the feels? I don't know. Maybe I'm making this deeper than it is.
No, I think it's perfect sense. So like for me and like basically just the whole grief journey, I'm also not a crier. I gave myself permission to cry.
You did today?
Absolutely. Well, anytime. I gave myself permission to cry shortly after, the losses last year. Like, if the tears come, they come. If they don't, they don't. I'm not manufacturing any emotions, whether it's good or bad. There's some days where when you go through a really deep and personal loss, there are days where it's like, okay, things are good today.
Yeah.
And then you can, on the other side of things, feel guilty about things being good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I really had to make a conscious decision of, if it is a tough day and the tears come, let them come. If it is a good day, I will not feel guilty about feeling good. Like, it's just, for me, it's a very conscious decision to just let whatever the emotions are be, because I know that if I don't, it can really backfire. Suppressing feelings and emotions and all that can totally backfire. So even though there's that solid spiritual foundation, like, shortest verse in the Bible, Jesus wept. So why wouldn't I, but like I say, it's not something that I've just never been much of a crier.
Yeah.
But
I know you're not saying that, like, clearly you're not saying that. And I'm not saying that like it's something to be proud of, or that you're tough or anything.
No, it's just, for whatever reason, I just have not been much of a crier.
Well, I am interested in exploring that a little bit, not at you, but like, that's what I'm talking about. I love that you are giving yourself permission to do that. Because I am an annoying question asker, the next thing I want to ask for, like, practical reasons that I'm asking even for me is, so what does that look like? Do you know what I mean? Like, so when you're talking about, and I know the terrible grief that you've gone through over the last year and 3, and when I think about like things that have made me sad or emotionally, like my dad died 11 years ago. Did not cry. I cried for 5 minutes at his death when the moment he died. I cried. I didn't cry before it. I think I cried a smidgen, just like a minute with him when he told me he had brain cancer, and he started to like get verklempt and get tearful. So there was like a minute there, but then you're like caring for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then there was no tears the whole 6 months we took care of him. The 5 minutes I had where I bawled, like, I don't know if I've cried like that. Well, I have cried like that before. I can probably pick out the times I've cried, literally. Maybe you can too. So I think also as women, so even with my marriage, tough things with kids or whatever, for my life, and probably so many women, we have so many people that we're taking care of, like we were saying a little bit ago, that there's no time. Like, for instance, if there's something going on in my marriage and I feel sad or whatever, even anger, okay, that's obviously an emotion. We need, where we feel the need to disguise, and I don't mean just women, we all do this, but to not be that. We need to be something for someone else. That's legit though. Like, that's legit. I'm at a dinner table. I'm pissed at my husband for whatever reason. And I can't, let my kids see that. I can't puke that energy onto them. So we don't. And then what do we make an appointment for ourselves? Like, people who do this, you are amazeballs. Please let us know. Because it's a thing that it's a practice, I suppose, like anything else is what I'm trying to say. And I don't have the answers. I'm just babbling, but so that's my experiences. So often if I'm feeling sad or I'm feeling frustrated or I'm feeling mad, I'm the mom. I'm the mom to my children. I'm the mom in front of my children when I'm the wife, but I'm also the mom because the kids are there. They come first. So, it's like we're always doing these things and holding it together for everyone else. So when you say I give myself permission, what I was really thinking was, what does that look like? Like, when you're sad and you feel it, you're not going to go make it happen, I guess. But if you feel it and you're in a meeting, or maybe you don't feel it in a meeting, or you're feeling it and you have to go into a meeting, do you say, I'm going to be 10 minutes late for this meeting? I don't know. I do think there is something to people that listen to music and let it come. Like that would be my segue would be to set time for myself.
Music has been very powerful.
Yeah.
And then I think I maybe shared with you on Sunday, I had it was actually a work call. And we just started to kind of share experiences, and we started to share our grief journeys. And I mean, literally, it was one of our male employees or consultants and myself. And like, as he talked, tears came and he cried. Oh, wow. And as I talked, tears came and it was okay. And so it's giving ourselves permission, but then that also allows other people to have permission to actually feel and know that it's okay. It's okay. Like whatever it is that you're feeling, if it's sadness, if it's, just that grief journey, because we don't know. There's no time limit on
yes, thank you for saying that. There is no time limit on grief. Thank you.
So yeah, it is whatever it is. And each person handles it differently. But I knew, for how I'm naturally wired, I had to do a little unwiring.
Yes.
So that I was not like stuffing things down or suppressing anything, and just move on beyond the feelings. Like, as you know, like I continued to do the things that I needed to get done, all the projects that I'm working, I continued to do them.
Yeah.
Part of the reason that I didn't slow down, one, is because like, I know like Will would not have wanted me to slow down.
Just for the audience, you're talking about the reason that you didn't slow down after Will's death.
Yes. Like he would not have wanted me to. And it's not in my DNA to just sit and do nothing.
Well, it feels better if you're not sitting also.
Right. It does. But just because someone has passed on, it does not mean that our purpose dies. Like our purpose continues to live. Yeah. And it doesn't mean that their dreams die. Like they may be gone, but there may be things that you were working on and dreaming together. Yeah. You still make those things happen. Like their dreams can live on through you. And so it's just all a part to me of living in my purpose, like being very purposeful about living in my purpose, and also about not letting those dreams that we had together and the things that we were working on together, not letting those things die. Like that would have been very dishonoring to him.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And
You're welcome.
Thank you for saying like there's no time, like, oh, here's where you get this much time and you should be over it, or you should be better. Grief is such an interesting thing, and until you go through it, for me, it was like totally questioned everything. Like when my dad died, it was, questioning all the things that I said I believed, and the things that I said that I believed to, oh, now that happened. Do I really think that? It's just such a trip, and everybody gets to do it. One last thing I'll share about emotions that for me, and we're, everybody's journeys are different, and thanks for entertaining this and going down this road with me, which as we do, but, it's just interesting to me about emotions. And as a mom, as women, that's a good topic, I think, to talk about. How do we honor those emotions as they come up? How do we know that we are recognizing them and validating them and leaning into lessons that can come from them, so sorry. I was watching this show, and it's called Pachinko, and it's I think it's on Apple, and this was over the summer, and it, you know, the storyline is about the Korean, what's about a Korean family, and how the Japanese, not invasion, but occupancy of Korea, and it takes this one family's journey through that time to present, to like the 80s. And my brother is Korean, and yeah, just watching that show brought up, I was like, out of nowhere, I'm sitting in myself, like almost watching myself, like out of body, watching myself weep. And my husband's laying next to me in bed sleeping, and I'm staying up one of those nights, and binging the show and just weeping, and just tears just smashing out of my face. And also, like, as it's happening, being like, what is happening? Like, I'm just like, and so it was just interesting. And I've done some thinking about that. And what I thought about was that was really good. Whatever that meant. Like, I didn't have to know what it meant. I could draw some conclusions around my brother, my relationship, and feeling, and, feeling for him, and an experience that I'll never know, the connectedness that we have to one another, even though we haven't shared those exact experiences, that deep sadness for those kinds of things, like a whole world of things. Yeah. But I just know it was good. Yeah. I just felt good about that. It felt like a gift. Like, oh, those tears were in there, huh? Right. Anyway, lastly, spiritually, go for it.
Yeah. So spiritually, feeling really solid. And as we talked about earlier, like, that really has been the thing, like listening to God and knowing his promises and knowing the things that he's spoken to me, like knowing his voice and knowing that I can trust him, and that, like, all the things that he promises are just true, like they happen. And, just the confidence that I have in life and in death because of my spiritual walk. Experiencing lots of loss, lots of close and deep losses, but still having that very solid confidence in both life and in death. So spiritually, I feel really good.
That's so awesome. You've been such a great example. It's been such an experience to see you go through everything that you've gone through in the last several years, and how you've moved through it. And what a great teacher. And you're so open to talk about things, and thank you.
Yeah,
love you so much for that. Spiritually for me, amazing. And so, like what does that mean to me? How am I spiritually? And I say amazing, it means I just, like, I think you're saying too, just is that I just feel so, like, in love with God.
Yeah.
And just totally in love with him. Is my life all perfect? No. Nothing like that or anything, but I do, I've shared, and this will be fun to talk about these things specifically. And I'm already thinking, like, okay, cool, how we could talk about this, like, just with, current events that are happening in the world, and how even this all relates to how do we, when we watch the news or we hear something, what do we do with that,
Yeah.
So spiritually for me, that's been so important, knowing the things that are going on in the world, knowing the upcoming election. How do we work through that? How do we come to a place of peace? And that I'm so grateful for my journey and my practice, I will say, of that I chose to be very intentional and non-negotiable about, if that's a word. I don't know, maybe about 2 years ago now, where just making in my morning practice the first thing that I do, the very first thing that I do, outside of maybe letting the dog out. It's sitting down, it's meditation and prayer for whatever. I could do it longer. I love it so much. But really, it's just that remembering and trusting. It's just that, okay, so today, where do you want me to go? What do you want me to do? Who do you want me to talk to? What do you want me to say? All right, let's go. Just that intentional, I remember who I am. I'm that same person that he created me to be, no matter what is happening, no matter what the situations are. And just remember my worth, my value, and that light isn't coming at me. I just read this the other day too, and it was like a verbal, it was just so good. It was like the light that we talk about. I had this visual for a long time that when I would meditate, of me sitting in this chair out in our yard. So we live out in the country, but it was right out here, and the sun was shining. It was out sort of in a field, and I'm in this chair, and I'm just like face up, facing the sun, and the sun is shining on me. And that image is like God, the universe just pouring into me. And then I heard this explanation of this, and I know that, and I do think this also, but it was beautiful. It was, the light is coming from within us, shining outward. And so then I had this new look of that image of, oh my God, that was freaking amazing. I'm sitting out in that chair. I'm going to cry right now. See, those are good tears. But sitting out in that chair, and it's not, the sun shining on me. It is literally, but like literally it was this image of him, the Holy Spirit and God, whatever you all want to call it. Okay. Where we connect, that brilliance, that power coming out of me to the world. What? Yeah. That's just so cool.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So that's my spiritual place where I'm at. It's great. Love it. Chat about it all day.
Yeah. I think we're both just super full of gratitude.
Yes, so grateful, so grateful.
Super full of gratitude.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that's today's P.I.E.S for y'all.
Today.
I'm Angie.
And I'm ReShonda.
And this was Sister Friends.
Sister Friends, thanks for
See you next time.
tuning in.
Yep, bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to Sister Friends. We hope these conversations help you see things from a new angle, feel a little more connected, and maybe even laugh along the way.
Remember, whether it's family, work, or those elephants in the room we all deal with, everything really is about relationships.
If you enjoyed this episode, let us know. Share your thoughts, share this podcast with a friend, and let's keep building those connections.
Until next time, stay connected, stay curious, and let's keep growing together.